Greetings to the family and friends. Today I have a talk for you called The Wetiko and the Artist. How's everybody doing out there in cyber world? I'm just chilling out here in my apartment in Gulfport, Mississippi. Just enjoying the big full-size fridge. The Wetiko and the Artist. I'd like to start with this poem or set of notes I found that I wrote after, I think it was while I was watching a Geraldine Orozco video discussion or teaching. And destabilized states, transparency, betrayal. Is that good or hates? Whose gates? The more you meditate, the more you discern inversion, the more you'll go in the harmonic order. Geraldine O. Yep, I must have wrote that while I was watching her, like I said. The Wetiko and the painter or musical artist have always had, a rather ridiculously strong association with each other. Like they have, like it's just meant to be throughout time and space. It's almost as if the dark controllers decided upon the meme in the beginning of the Matrix hologram. Artists must be crazy. Especially after all of the inversions of and by Luciferic Hollywood, by the early 20th century's advent of movies, this sick perception had already been long glued to the muggle public perception. If the good artists must most often be crazy, then responsible folks would shun or cringe in fear in their personal relationships with artists or musicians. The idea that you have to be a great artist, you're likely to have a screw loose. There's been an idea since the beginning of the Matrix, right? Took hold. We've even seen modern thought stirrers like Sam Vaknin question if there is actually a necessity or necessary connection or link between nuts and good art. Like it's a gene. To be effective, you must be neurodivergent or on drugs. Well, I thought of the idea for this video while I was swimming in the warm Gulf of Mexico yesterday in the warm, brown, 87-degree water. Since the beginning, the insanity of the greats was highlighted. You know, I mean, it's going way back. The divine madness of Mozart, the eccentricity of Beethoven, the unhinged, blinding light of divine pathology of Van Gogh. Dude cut his ear off because he was so romantic. Most of our favorite musical stars were known to be stark raving mad, right? Lee Scratch Perry invented reggae dub music and made hundreds of great tracks. Amongst them was the track I Am a Madman and I Am a Psychiatrist. Scott Weiland would like to take PCP and freak out on stage when he was playing with STP, his band. So many musical artists throughout time, so to speak, throughout as far as we've known, were known to be, tortured or in crazy junkies or cokeheads and alcoholics. The list goes on and on, way too long. The list is nearly endless. Having a huge gift to give the people is intense and can be intimidating. A very tall order for the individual. And especially in the entertainment biz, it is often all surrounding them: the drugs, the isolation, communion with commerce or capitalist commercialism, signing the deal with the devil, literally, the Illuminati players, the sycophants of every ugly stripe. A popular musician, often it seems, must be surrounded by massive archontic forces of false control and darkness. This musical genius god must be rendered crazy in an inverted world. The great artist must be perceived as a Wetiko themselves. Now, why is that? Why do they do that? The ultimate reversal of thought. You see, because the artist is using their emotions, their feelings to create, to embody the sacred creator. If it's harmless or respectful mostly, and then, So as soon as this insane thought, perhaps through the mainstream media, struck especially now, normies feared, shunned, hated, or revered at a great physical distance the artistic geniuses of our era. Keep them as well, keep them as a little puppet keep them on the human farm as simply human circus animals, a country club prison, so to speak, like made of drugs or whatever, paid well enough to do their tricks and get back in their cages. If the musical or visual artists sign deals with the Rainmaker, if they've done a brilliant job spreading the fear, the hate, the lies, or nihilist oblivion-based concepts of the dark side, like anti-human, pro-archontic, post-humanism, post-modernism, post-gender, post-organic life, they face it just like many other facets of life. The fake gods we call the Archons or Wetiko has heavily infested the aggregate's perception of an artist. So, I got to be honest, the main reason that I haven't made any content, we're here for several days, is that I probably broke one of the 4 agreements and took it personally when I I'm gonna find out when I check out if someone turned it in, but that was like the Wetiko. The Archon disappeared my pillowcase full of clean laundry, and the laundry machine repairman told me that someone stole it, but it was dangling off my bag. But it's possible. But if it was, I mean, all those clothes had holes in them. I need to get more new clothes anyway, so I thought if someone needed it that bad. But the thing is that it's not. I think the Wetiko disappeared it, and so I was having to get over the idea that I just rented a haunted room for a week. I don't know. It just it doesn't bother me now. It's a beautiful place, and Gulfport is. I feel like I'm in it's a subtropical jungle. Yeah, hurricane headquarters. So they had to do this. They had to do it to terrify people into compliance. You see, I don't want people to be artists, because you see, like, not just the god or the creator, goddess. It's not that it gets you in touch with your inner goddess or whatever you want to call it, but it's because it's empowerment. The artist could be a sovereign entrepreneur, self-empowered. So to terrify them into a corner of the cube tech. And by the way, if you want to know what I'm drinking, I made my own keto limeade, because I still haven't been to the health food store here yet, so I had to squeeze the limes to terrify them into a corner of the cube tech, at least when it comes to. Oh yeah, and also the internet was down here for the first day or two when I got here. So at least when it comes to artists, when you really discern the truth, it's actually, once again, diametrically opposed. Like, I was watching this thing that was on YouTube, and this dude was talking about the craziest places to live, and these really good looking, hot looking 25-year-old like artists and fashion designers. They were living in this building where their apartment was about the size of this kitchen, just enough for a large bed and all their shit, and they're paying $1,800 for this tiny room because it's in New York City. And I was like, oh no, man. Yeah, no, I could get this for like, for like a month and a half. I could stay here. It's like, no. I'd rather do that. So, this is my writing. Good writers, playwrights, painters, and musicians must be insane, no? Actually, it is exactly the opposite. Once again, in the sick and twisted matrix, the artist is the actual sane person, because the artist is in touch with their creatorhood. They're making stuff. They're getting in touch. They're living the dream. They're living back into that original version, the deleted YouTube video, the first, the original version of reality. And so, because you see, the good artist is actually oftentimes, if they're really good, a truth teller, or describing the human condition, or whether it's emotionally, especially it's got to be that, or conceptually or as a protest song. And we have to be a clear-headed or strong-willed vessel to channel or create good art. And and also one thing I didn't write down that I got to work on even always more is they really have to have amazing social skills and social graces, social etiquette to actually succeed, or they want to just make a living as a musical or visual artist or painter, even any kind of art, even a writer. They have to know how to get along, or it ain't gonna work. And that's why I'm a one-man band, or I have been. So I was thinking about actually planning to pull it out here, and so that when you experience that, it's you see that the shadow work that I need to do is and all these other people that, well, often it's the heroin or the whatever that they're into, that it's like hard to have really good social graces when they're bad into drugs or whatever. So and you better bet your sweet bippy, the better they are at their craft, the better they are at their art, the more the Wetiko will try to channel its filthy perspective into the art. Like they do with everything, they got to try to, they're masters of infiltration. They're masters of infiltration, okay? The Wetiko, and they are actually amazing working artists. Could not be more opposed. The artist takes his emotions, feelings, and mental concepts and these energies and uses these raw human etheric, excuse me, see, this lady was there, and she, I think he might need somebody. Yeah, the lady who was there yesterday, she told me she was hungry yesterday, so. The lady? Yeah. See that? See that? That proves it. See that? This is why I hesitate to also, because see, he just knocked on the wrong door. But you see, this is a case where it can easily be defective, or it could easily work. It depends on the actual vibrations of each space. How it actually, we interact with everything. See, we're multi-dimensional beings. See, if I had all the the J seals or whatever they're called, if I was totally clear, if I'd done all my shadow work totally clear of deception in my subconscious, then I'd probably have to have a big fat smudge. But then I think it's one of the rules. There's like 100 rules of things I can and can't do here. I mean, they didn't charge me a deposit, and it was as much as I paid for a room in the place I stayed in Santa Cruz like 20 years ago. But it's an amazing deal. But that's why I came here, but also because I'm about to go get it back in that 87-degree warm mixture of the Mississippi River and the ocean. So I really like it. 87-degree ocean, man, it's nice too. So when you make art, when you create art, you utilize raw human pardon. How's that? It's definitely not organic, but it has to work. You use the raw human etheric materials to create a work of art. This may be the simplest, most quickest, basic way to experience the real God. Be a little God now. Create. If it's harmless, respectful, if you can help others or yourself to heal, and you just by making something, if it is good, it is a way human emotions and acting on them can heal, unite, strengthen the collective will to good, or remember the inherent divinity the artist creates. In capitalism, they might sell their souls to survive and beautify or enlighten us simultaneously. Like perhaps, Ozzy Osbourne was singing, maybe it's not too late if we can learn how to love and forget how to hate. Like the year after they said he bit the head off a bat, but I think it was a toy or something. But so the whole thing is just the Wetiko or Archon cannot create. It is a literal energy vampire, the ultimate narcissistic loser entity, the Archon. It can knock you over. I mean, it's extremely talented at sabotaging your life if you're not very careful. It can knock you over if you aren't careful. Literally, I mean, I've drawn blood in places that are really haunted, like where I'm from, like where I spent 20 years recently. Yeah. If I'm not really careful, then what you call it, what you want, a ghost, an archon, or it's just the human condition is that we have to be very. That's why meditation is such a great tool. We have to be very careful with the way that the second bardo is on this planet. It's not cleared yet. It's just. So I think it breaks the rules to smudge. So it was just sad because I got this smoking room, but it's a no incense. So if you aren't careful, literally, the Archon can pervert, invert, distort, or destroy the purity of an artist's message. It can use drugs, alcohol, or demented concepts to create the artist in the image of the false self, God, Wetiko. That's what it does. It's making you just like it. The uncreative, the anxious and worried and destructive force of self-destruction, the Wetiko. The ultimate vampire in the subconscious mind that was the flyers programmed in there. If at all possible, make the artist into a fellow vampire. But the Wetiko cannot create anything aside from all of the soul-sucking structures to extract loose. So, just like the case of my talk that YouTube deleted, the two human operating systems still available on the other platforms. Since Loser 4 or Inky got here, this stupid perception that great artists must be insane or suicidal, like Hemingway, took hold and was strengthened by massive numbers of black magic, like Hollywood, the black magic wand, and black magic rituals, and not just in Hollywood, but everywhere. A great artist reminds us that the divine creator, Christ Sophia, is truly within us. Because their artwork or music touches you in that way that you go, now I remember. The artist does contact the creator and release some of the rays of creator's light to shine awareness, joy, sexual or expressive communion even on and with the people. I mean, they bliss out, and your favorite artist, your favorite band, and you blissing out. It's like a orgy for your ears but your body's also, cavorting around and. To surround the awesome, benevolent creators with psychic or even physical filth, to make the real God a pathological addict, to take the most overtly, adamantly, creatively aware beings and turn them into puddles of weeping, junky dramas. I'm melting. I'm melting. The harvest goals are complete. So, if you have the calling, if you need the divine nudge to be a creator and make a good art, first, you might just have to slay your Wetiko, or they're gonna make you stop creating in all kinds of ways. If you enjoyed this and you haven't already, and you watched this far, I mean, wow, you gotta subscribe or resubscribe or whatever. If you have the courage, my friends and family, give thanks to the original divine being who was here all along, who gave you free will, and create a great day.